Yo, 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 yo. What's good with it? It's the homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge. Reporting live from the Dogon. Each one teach one, peace and love. Each one teach one, peace and love. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. Follow the movement on Instagram at MacTV_82. Yeah, so this is another session of Mac Minutes. Mac Minutes, Mac Minutes. Somebody had brought to my attention. I had actually posted a meme, and in the meme there was a picture of this mother yelling at her son and pulling out a belt on the top of the meme. The mother was yelling at the son, and she had a belt, and she was telling them, "Boys and men don't cry." And then at the bottom of the same meme, that boy, it shows him as an adult, and that same woman, the mother, they show her older, as an older woman, and she's yelling at him as an adult, like, "Show some emotion." And he has that kind of, that whimsical look on his face, like, what? Like, what's that? It's whatever, just real stoic. And somebody had, my frat brother, salute to my homie. I don't know if you want me to say your name, so I'm just going to say salute to my homie. He asked me, have I ever addressed men in context of them dealing with their emotions and processing their emotions and, just allowing themselves to feel and be vulnerable, that I should address that. Ultimately, my point of reference is going to be my life. My life and my ecosystem, different things that I've seen coming up. It was incessantly pressed upon me to be firm, to be stoic, to not show a lot of emotion, to not cry, because to be the antithesis of all those things is to be a pussy or a bitch, or you're soft, or you're weak, or to not be that way. People may perceive that they can prey upon you. It is what it is, and I think unfortunately, a lot of men develop this unhealthy dynamic where they feel like it's more manly or masculine to not even allow yourself to process or feel what you feel. To not even allow themselves to feel what they feel, to process what they feel. They just hide it. And that's unhealthy. That's hella unhealthy. That's astronomically unhealthy. That is not a good route in context of mental health to go. Mental health, as far as mental health, that's not a good route to go. Because I'm of the mindset that what does Sigmund Freud say? Sigmund Freud said the emotions that you don't acknowledge or confront, they just come back in uglier forms. And I've seen that with a lot of men. I've realized like a lot of men in the process of them trying to suppress their emotions actually become more emotional. So it's like the opposite effect happens. I'm even noticing now like a lot of men are hyper emotional. And I think a lot of that hyper emotion just comes from, most of your life you've been told suppress, suppress, suppress. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Suppress, suppress, suppress. Not process, not understand, not to create a means of a healthy release. So you got all these brothers walking around with all these, not even just brothers, just men in general, walking around with all these bent up tensions and all these microaggressions, and I guess my thing is I can understand, I can respect the need for a man to be strong mentally, the need for a man to be strong physically, the need for a man to be a protector and a provider. But in the process of all those roles, feeling feelings does not make you less than. Acknowledging your feelings does not make you less than. I mean, in retrospect, when I think about different examples of manhood that I've seen from the men in my family and just in greater society, I've come to realize like a lot of these men, they self-medicated. From weed to even stronger drugs, to sex, to alcohol. They never actually confronted their pain. They just suppressed it. And you can only pigeonhole those feelings but for so long. I mean, like the aforesaid quote from Sigmund Freud that I mentioned, it's gonna come back. You can only suppress those demons but for so long. They're gonna manifest. And a lot of times when they pop off, it's at the wrong time, wrong moment. And it's usually a hyper distorted manifestation. Just extra. Extra, and it's usually over something small. But you got all that backed up energy, and it's gonna come out. And I guess my stance would be emotions, feelings, they don't need to be discarded. They don't need to be pushed to the side. They need to be understood. And and even in my personal life and women that I've dated, like one common thing was, Maurice, you don't feel feelings. Mac, you don't feel feelings. You're like a wall. Hugging you is like hugging a piece of steel. It's just like you don't feel things, and or you're just too cool. You're too calm, and I realized, for a long time, and maybe even to a certain extent now, I've always felt like men that allowed themselves to be vulnerable, not only just to other men, but to women, was setting themselves up to get hurt. We're setting themselves up to be manipulated. We're setting themselves up to be played. We're essentially how, the notion was, don't be a trick, don't be a bitch, don't let these girls da-da-da-da-da. I felt like I had to be stern. I felt like to show emotion, a woman would make that, in her mind, tantamount to me being weak. No woman wants to be around a man who she feels like can't protect her, or no woman wants to be around a man that she feels like she can just easily manipulate. Or sometimes they do want that, so they can control said man. But after a while, that man is gonna, she's not gonna forget the man. She's not gonna respect him. She's gonna treat him like crap, and eventually, at some point, there's gonna be a breaking point in that interaction. But yeah, right now, I would say this is probably the first time in my life. I'm in my 30s. This is the first time in my life where I really don't beat myself up about feeling feelings. A lot of times I realize I probably should have just cried. Honestly, as opposed to getting angry and getting hyper aggressive. I'm not saying I should have just broke down and cried in a moment, but I should have found, I'm not even going to say I necessarily should have cried. Even if I were to cry, it would be in private, but there needs to be some type of release of the tension, and I don't think that release should necessarily always be violent. I guess my thing is, I don't know who created this notion that men shouldn't feel feelings, or that men are soft because they feel feelings. I don't know where this notion was even created. Maybe it came from hunter-gatherer societies where men, pastoral hunter-gatherer societies where men were constantly in competition for survival. And I'm not talking about survival in a socio-economic context of now of I got to go to work and I got to feed my family. No, like I'm literally at war for resources with other men. And I may have to kill a man and take his resources or kill him because he's trying to take my resources. So I have to be I I have to be hard. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, who knows? I know what they call it, epigenetics, where the emotional strain, the paradigm that you develop from said emotional strain or emotional trauma, you pass that down to your progeny. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a thing where men develop this callousness, and it becomes physiologically passed down, and then a whole culture is pretty much created to perpetuate that callousness or that harshness. I think a man needs to have a healthy balance. I think men need to try to take the time to understand why they feel what they feel. Really self-reflect, learn themselves, learn their microaggressions, learn their thought patterns. You know, understand, okay, this is what triggers me, this is what upsets me, this is what hurts my feelings. I'm not saying they need to tell this to the whole world when they discover it, but instead of just becoming this savage where you just fly off at the handle, understand what it is and find a healthy coping mechanism, a healthy means of confronting the aforesaid. I guess my thing is I don't want there to be more generations of little boys who grow up to be like these emotionally unavailable, these emotionally callous men. But it's like, I put some of this onus on women because I feel like most women don't respect a man being emotionally transparent. I mean, they may say they do in theory, but I think sometimes, like, women, when women feel like, I got them figured out, I think they take certain liberties and lose a certain amount of respect. Now, a good woman, I don't think she would do that. But, I mean, I think there are, in the context of now, I think we're living in a time where, you know, when it comes to men and women and the interpersonal relationships, there's a lot of manipulation, there's a lot of control, there's a lot of, I'm just going to use you to get what I can get for however long I can get it. You know, I don't think we're really on, more often than not, I'm not going to say that there aren't any healthy relationships out there between men and women. There are. But I just think the culture now, I think people are very they have a very predatory mindset. Predator, yeah, a very predatory type mindset when it comes to the opposite sex. You know, I'm not going to say all women are bad. That's definitely not true. I'm not going to say all men are bad. That's not true. I just think the stakes are high, and you know, I think a lot of people, they want love, unconditional love, but they have all these conditions, you know, and there's a lot of mental gymnastics being played. Hence why I'm not very trusting. Not only not very trusting of just dating, but just people in general. Like, I just feel like a lot of people are trying to finesse and get over in certain ways. What am I saying at the end of the day? I think you need to use discernment. Us as men, we need to use discernment. I guess this could apply to women too. But we need to use discernment in who we allow ourselves to be transparent with, who we allow into our world, into our mental space, who we give mental space to. We need to be very cautious in context of that. There needs to be much scrutiny in considering who we can be transparent with. Because everybody don't deserve it. Everybody don't deserve our vulnerability. Everybody doesn't deserve to see the best parts of us. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm an advocate. I'm a mental health advocate. I am for people, and I think with mental health, people always associate that with maybe mental disorders or neurological disorders. But no, I'm thinking mental health in my mind, how I process it, is just how you deal with your day-to-day life. How do you compartmentalize things? How do you handle trauma? How do you deal, you know, even when you're in good spaces, like how do you act? You know, how do you maintain like this emotional homeostasis where you're not too high, you're not too low. You know, how do you maintain that? That's been my focus, just making sure that I'm careful about what I pay attention to. What I'm careful about what I allow to influence me. I think this world's culture is very empty. I think it's very vapid. I think it's very shallow. I think it praises emptiness and I think this world has this fixation where it praises a lot of the shallowness within pop culture. But yeah, men, feel your feelings. Understand your feelings. You know, if you feel like you can't be you around people, around certain people, and when I say you, just meaning being emotionally transparent, then you know, act accordingly. So I'm not saying you should walk around with your feelings on your sleeve, you know, with your heart on your sleeve, but you should be able to understand why you feeling what you feel, and figure out your method, a healthy means of dealing with what you feel. This is a session of Mac Minutes. Your homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge, signing out from the Dogon. Each one, teach one, peace and love. Watch out for that project. That project, social distancing, lights on toilet paper. It is coming soon. It's coming soon, I promise. I'm looking for a late December release or early January. It's your homie Mac. Like, share, comment, subscribe. The movement is moving, man. Peace and love. Each one, teach one.